All right, folks. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna go for a little ride. I got this little chest thingy. Y'all gonna come with me while we feed the worms. This is what we're gonna do today. Hopefully this mount works. It's like one of these chest pieces. I don't know what I'm doing here, but this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go feed the worms. So we're gonna leave this. First thing we gotta do is we gotta get the wheelbarrow, right? So we gotta load that up first. Actually, I'm gonna grab it, but we're not gonna load it up just yet. We're just gonna get it in position. We serve the worms sifted, so we're gonna use that sifted, but first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go, what are we gonna do? We're gonna go take the covers off of the worm bins. Remember the tents that we had up top, the shade structures, those fell and broke in the wind during January, so we have these temporary shade structures up that we need to take off now. So that's what we're gonna do. We're going to come in and take each one of these off. Maybe, hopefully, without tearing it apart, but it looks like we're gonna tear this stuff apart a little bit. Cheap China stuff. It is what it is. We gotta do what we can with the time constraints that we had, so it is. We're gonna undo these because it just makes it easier to feed the wedges, which I'll see later. So these are shade cloths that we had to put on top just so we can keep the sun off of the wedges because they will bake, absolutely cook. We don't want the worms to cook. That's a bad thing. So we got a little bit of wind bringing in a little bit of trash, which is okay. We'll just pull that off. But we're gonna need to untwist all of these. I'm just gonna take these off here, pull that and do that. All right, so this is what we're doing today. We do this actually every Thursday. Every Thursday we'll feed, and we got to pull these off so that I can get the food down in there. Now, hopefully, in the next month or so, we will get some new shade structures up so that we don't have to do this. And we could just have the shade structure. But we'll see. We'll see if or when actually those come in. Right now, it's supposed to be a few weeks out, so we'll give it some time. But we've got 2 done. Now we'll go ahead and do these 2, and then we've got 4 left after that. It's not hard, it's just tedious. It gets harder when I have to feed them because the sifted compost is quite heavy. It's actually really heavy. I know when you guys buy it, you're always like, wow, these bags are heavy. And they are. They're on average around 35 pounds. Well, 25 to 30 pounds. All right, I just found something pretty cool. I don't know if y'all can see that. We've got mushrooms growing. These are in our new wedges. You can see those right there. And it's just because the temperatures are up, and the moisture is just right. So they're gonna grow, which is great because we already have them in our other wedges. So love to see that they're growing in the new wedges as well. Got to get that diversity in there, and that is great. Which way do we want to go with this one? I think we'll go this way. So, since we did see the mushrooms, I know some of you guys might be asking, Dennis, why do you have mushrooms in your worm castings? Well, it goes into the soil biology stuff that I always talk about. Diversity and microorganisms. And fungi, or mushrooms, are one of those microorganisms that we need in the soil if we want our plants to have all the nutrients that they could ever have or be happy with. Fungi is just one of those, right? We also have bacteria, protozoans, right? And protozoans is a big group of guys made up of Arcelias, testate amoebas, flagellates, a whole bunch of other little fellas. But yeah, so seeing mushrooms in the pile is a great thing. I love that. Now, if we could get more mushrooms, as in different types, that would be great too. And I know some of you guys are like, why don't you put mushroom blocks in your wedges? Well, there's a very good reason for that. And it's because those mushrooms sometimes are not the type of mushrooms that I want. Yep, still got mushrooms growing here. That's good. So why would I not want those mushrooms? Well, whoa, look at that big fella. Y'all see that, dude? Massive grasshopper. Get out of here. Looks like something off of Bug's Life. He was huge. Okay. Why don't I want mushroom blocks in my thing? One thing is they usually tend to be on the saltier side of things. And if you know anything about Vegas soil, we got plenty enough salt in our water, in our soil. We won't need any more salt. So don't want to do that. And if they're not salty, then the second issue we run into is that the type of mushroom they are. We have different types of mushrooms and they perform different functions in the soil. So let's say we have mushrooms that break down organic material, right? Those are good mushrooms. We want that. That's what I want in my wedges in the worm castings that I provide for you guys. They break down organic material like wood chips, cellulose, lignin, those types of things. Yes, good stuff. That's what we want. We also have other mushrooms that are parasitic. That means that they're parasites basically. And these guys feed on living plants. I don't know about you guys. I don't want parasitic mushrooms in my worm compost or vermicompost or my worm castings, because when it goes into my garden and it's parasitic, it might start eating some of my plants. I don't want that. Living plants. Parasitic mushrooms feed on living organic plants. Whereas these guys, which are inky caps, feed on decomposing dead organic material. Those are the guys we want. So, I don't add mushroom blocks because I want the right type. Now, the other thing with some of the mushrooms and the mushroom blocks are, actually, I think we're good now. Everything's uncovered. Yep. Actually, I'm going to water first. We're going to water first these wedges before we put the food down. So, all right. Second reason I don't put, what was I talking about? Losing my train of thought. Another reason I don't put mushroom blocks on is because some mushrooms, like oyster mushrooms, they actually create these little loops, and they will actually feed on my microorganisms in the soil. Specifically, what I'm talking about here is nematodes. There's this, it's kind of cool. Let me put my hand up. So fungal hyphae goes like this, and then some of these, like oyster mushrooms, will create loops along the fungal hyphae network, right? So let's say that's a loop that it created, and this is a fungal hyphae, right? That loop is actually like a trap. And what will happen is my nematode will come along and stick his head in there because he's attracted to it. And then it will constrict, that fungal hyphae will constrict around it and suffocate and kill that nematode and actually start eating it. So, do I really want to kill my nematodes that are in, the beneficial nematodes, right, that are in my wedges just to have more fungi? Nope, I don't. Other people might say, yeah, I do want that. Well, I'm going to tell you that I don't. And that's based upon my soil biology and what I'm seeing here in my climate, right? So here I'm in Las Vegas. So we don't have hardly any nematodes, zero, in our native soil. So I don't have any nematodes. If I add oyster mushrooms into my vermicompost, which has nematodes, I'm going to end up with even less nematodes. So not something that I want to do. Now, hey, if you got a soil system, you know what I mean, and it's doing great for you, and you've got nematodes in it already, you're adding more nematodes, and you're like, I want to add, different types of fungi, and those fungi are, nematode trapping fungi, then by all means, go ahead and do that. For me, not going to do it. But everybody's different, right? Whatever floats your boat. There's 1,000 different ways to skin a cat, Don't have to just follow me. You can do your own thing. So it's just my personal preference, but your preference could be different. So all right, sweet. Now that we got those two watered, I don't want to water all of them because they'll dry out before I get the food on there. I don't want that to necessarily happen. So let's go back. I know, y'all see this? It's kind of cool. It's like a yellow brick road, kind of. And it's all these yellow flowers that are coming from this Palo Verde tree. Pretty cool. And yes, you can come to the property and you can walk these paths. It's not big. I mean, you could probably walk it in like a minute, 30 seconds, probably. You can walk back there, walk in and around, and then come back, and that's probably about it. We do have some signs so you can see what some of these plants are if you like them. We don't sell any plants here. At least I don't tend to, and not yet. Maybe in the future, but I'm not planning on it right now. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, and which is our sifted, and we are going to fill up an entire wheelbarrow, and that's what's going to get fed to one wedge. Now I know some people, they come here and they're like, wow, that's beautiful soil. It's not. It's compost that's been amended so that I can keep my worms fed. That's what I feed the worms here. By the way, that's a question that I get all the time. What do worms eat? They eat anything that's been living. So that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's compost, plants, animals, bones. If it was once living, they will process it. Or they will be there to help out. So, I think that's good. Is that one wheelbarrow? Well, a little bit more. There we go. Okay, now let's go for a ride. So we do this, like I said, once a week. Every Thursday. So that's what we do. Is it heavy? Yes. Is it labor intensive? Yes. But you gotta keep the worms fed. So that's what we're doing. Since we're talking about food, we already talked about fungi. So food. I've been asked, can I bring my food scraps to the worm farm so that we can feed the worms? No, you cannot. I used to do that. Used to, let me adjust this neck thing. Used to take food scraps from the food pantry when they gave out all their food and they had leftovers. They would graciously throw them into the trash, but, well, not graciously. They would throw them into the trash, but what they started doing is they started giving it out to the community. So if you had chickens or pigs or, in my case, worms, you could come and pick up all the leftovers so that they didn't have to throw it into the trash. So if you're growing worms or something like that and you're looking for a place to get food scraps, I'd say a food pantry would probably be a good way to go, especially if they don't have refrigerators to store all of their stuff. It's definitely doable here. But I do not feed food scraps because I need a consistent product. And what I mean by that is the biology on the back end. We've got to make sure that we have all the biology in there that I'm supposed to have. And when I can't dictate or control what the feedstock is, then I can't control what the final outcome is going to be. So therefore, I don't do that anymore. Now, will I get to a point where I want to? Yes. At some point, I would love to have an what is it called? An in-vessel composter. There's one from the UK that's great because I think they go up to, they're on the smaller side, but they're still large. Like an entire community could use it. So they're still big. But I want one of those because then I can control kind of what goes in, carbon to nitrogen ratio, and then what the product that comes out would be compost, and then I could feed that compost to my worms because that is a more stable product at the end of the day, and I can control the microbes better doing it that way. So that is why I do not accept food scraps anymore or feed that to my worms. This is good for you guys because now I can tell you that on average you will get a product that has all of the microbes in a specified number or quantity. So what is that specified quantity? Well, we use the Soil Food Web School as our basis of figuring out whether the product is good or bad. So we have to hit minimum numbers of bacteria, fungi, protozoans, all that stuff in order for it to be considered a product that we find good enough to sell. And right now, I love this. I do. All right, that's one. We've got 7 more to go. So, that's probably annoying and loud. Let's see if we can hold on to that a little bit. That's a little better. So that is feeding the wedges. A little quail running. We got all types of wildlife on this half an acre. I believe that's what it is. No, it's not my land. It doesn't belong to me. I lease it from the Special Projects Nursery. I lease a little bit of space, not the entire thing. Just some space. So now we go back to loading up. Hopefully this is straight and y'all can see that. I don't know. We'll find out later. Oh, fun fact. I don't know if y'all saw the video, but the bags I used to, for the past 3 years, was selling 5-gallon bags of sifted compost, and wood chips. Just the stuff that you see here. The distributor that used to carry those bags no longer carries them. So, what does any good person do? They go to Google and they're trying to find another distributor. Well, I found one, but nobody has the size that I used to use. So, what might have to happen when we run out of bags, which might happen really soon, is we might have to go to a self-service system where if you have buckets, bags, bins, whatever, you can come fill up your own, still get the same quality compost or compost and wood chips just at a cheaper price. So you'll have to bring your own container, fill it up, because I just don't have access to the bags anymore. So there's nothing I can do about that. I've Googled everywhere, and there is a manufacturer here in the US. They just don't sell. They sell by the pallet, and I don't know how many cases there's probably like 400 cases in a pallet. Each case has, 300 bags in it. I don't know what that math is. I can't do it right now because I'm shoveling and I'm talking. but I don't need that many bags. That many bags would probably last me years. So doesn't make any sense. Maybe one day, just not now. So, okay. I did too much talking. I overloaded it just a little bit. Hopefully this doesn't fall. Let's go ahead and go feed that. Oh, I need the fork too. So, day in the life of a worm farmer. Just a Thursday. Just a Thursday in the life of a worm farmer. All right. Man, this is so pretty. This Palo Verde is so pretty. Even with the yellow brick road. It's very pretty. Good thing is this week it cooled down, so it's not a scorcher. Last week was rough. Mid-90s. Boy, it was hot. This week, not so bad. Not so bad. All right. Let's go ahead and get this one fed. I don't know what this is. It's a red flower. Nice. Okay. All right. And if you guys can see, I hope you can. Basically, we just freed the front side of this wedge. I build up the top and I let it fall down. Not too much, but. And then we'll water these after I'm done. And then we'll give them cover back up. Oh. Yep, this is what we do. Let's see. So, yeah, the bag's picking up. So, if you guys have containers and buckets, keep an eye out on the website. It's probably likely going to happen pretty soon. I'm probably going to have to figure some of that computer stuff out this weekend, so that hopefully I can make that happen. So that we don't have a time period where we're not providing you guys with compost wood chips. Because I know some of you guys are trying to get your beds set up right now. Or just top dress your beds. And you need some of this stuff. So. Oh, I guess I could answer one other question that I was just thinking about, which is, boy, don't hit the camera. Jeez. Why do I use sifted compost and not just regular compost? It really comes down to a little bit of the biology, but also the chunkiness of it. It's really chunky if I use regular compost. I mean, it's still kind of chunky using sifted, but it's really chunky. Even after 6 months of sitting here, right, and having the worms process it, the worms don't have teeth. They can't bite into the wood chips, right? So since they can't bite into the wood chips, they can't really break those down that rapidly, that quickly. It takes time for the wood chips to break down, so those wood chips usually stay behind. So I rather use my sifted compost because it breaks down faster. So in 6 months, it doesn't look all chunky. Does it really change the biology? No. Would I have better biology if I used the chunky compost? Maybe. I don't know. I haven't tested that. Could be. Or it could be the exact same. The one thing you do want to remember if you're going to be doing this is that you don't ever turn this, right? Like, it's not a thermophilic compost pile. I'm using worms to be able to break this stuff down, right? So it's a different process. Oh, I gotta move this. There we go. Come on, stay. Thank you. It's a different process, so we're not heating anything up. I get a lot of questions about people using tumblers and then they want to put worms into it. And that's just, nope, don't do that. Do not add worms to a tumbler. A tumbler is a thermophilic system where we're going to use carbon and nitrogen and the right amount of moisture to heat that material up so that the microbes break it down. I just tripped on my little steak. Yes, so a tumbler uses carbon, nitrogen, and moisture to be able to break down that organic material. The microbes do all the work for you. These piles right here, right, if you're going to be vermicomposting, you are using biology to break down, these wedges right here, you're using the worms to break down the piles. There's still biology and they're breaking it down, don't get me wrong. But you're using the worms, not the biology. When the thermophilic pile, you're using the biology. And that's why you get the higher temperatures. You get the higher temperatures because, believe it or not, friction. Microorganisms starts bumping bodies because they start multiplying so fast because there's food source, water, and oxygen. And that causes them to reproduce real fast. And then they bump bodies and that causes friction. And that friction is what actually causes the heat of your compost pile. So, fun fact for you guys, if you didn't know what thermophilic composting was, that's what's actually happening. The microbes are knocking boots. Somebody might be knocking her boots. Yes, microbes are doing that, and that causes heat. I guess I probably shouldn't sing. I'm not a great singer. I do like karaoke though. So, those two piles are done. We're gonna go ahead and get these two piles wet them down, and then we're going to go get two more wheelbarrows full of food for the worms. By the way, I don't know if you guys can see this if it shows up on the camera. You see how bumpy and lumpy that is? I just added that, right? Now, look at this. See how smooth it is? I didn't do that. The worms do that. This is how you know if worms are processing your organic material. Doesn't matter if you've got giant piles or you're just doing a at-home worm bin. This is how you can see if worms are processing your material. They will turn it into a smooth golf course kind of texture on top where it's nice and smooth. There's no big lumpy things, right? And that means that they have processed that material or they've gone at least through it. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's all gone, because I guarantee you if I lift this stuff up, there's still going to be stuff that looks like what I put down, right? But it definitely means that they've gone through that material. And you can see the other wedges too, the dry ones, right? They're really smooth. There's none of that lumpy bumpy like those back there. It's because the worms have actually traveled through that material at least a few times, probably. All right, got these nice and wet. I'm gonna take our fork and go get some more. I'm not gonna put it in the wheelbarrow because that was kind of noisy. So we're just gonna carry it. I know some people also ask, can we come by? Yes, you absolutely can come by. I guess I should probably pick that back up. We had bad winds the other day and he fell over. Ooh. There we go. I guess we can put him right there. Use that as a prop. There we go. He should stay now. All right. Can you come by the property and check it out? Yes, you can. We're open on Fridays and Saturdays from 9 to 1. Most Fridays and Saturdays from 9 to 1. I say most because sometimes we might be at an event. And if I'm at an event, then I can't be at the property at the same time. Like this Saturday. This Saturday, we're going to be at the Spring Fling. So I will not be here. Which means that you cannot come pick up. But I've also put our hours of operation, the dates we're open and closed, on our events calendar and on Google and on something else. I can't remember. But it's posted. So if you ever wonder when we're open, I try to keep that stuff updated as soon as I know you will know because I'll post it. Yep. All right. All right, I think we're good there. Well, maybe one more is good. All right. Okay. Off we go. Wait, maybe not. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to take my stand and I'm going to just prop you guys up over there. And you'll see me when you see me as I'm doing these last 6 wedges. Alrighty, so it's really not a good spot to put you guys. But I think we're gonna try here first. Maybe. Maybe, there we go. All right. Guess I could take this off now. I think I'm gonna pull you guys off of here and just show y'all what it's like when we're done, because I don't want my phone to fry. So, see you guys at the end. Alrighty, folks, that was the last wheelbarrow. We got everything covered back up, and that's it for feeding the wedges today. So, everybody's covered back up, shaded as much as possible, and we'll see some of you all tomorrow on Friday when you come pick up your orders. Alrighty, we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.